damaging nature by not understanding how much we depend on that nature is a separate thing from us and we can just exploit. We owe her the most heartfelt debt any family could owe to their mother: understanding and example. A promise with destiny kept.
Just moments ago, shocking royal whispers have surfaced, alleging King Charles made a quiet move to cut Camilla's family out of the line of succession. No warning, no ceremony, just silence. What triggered this sudden royal shakeup? The full story will leave you stunned. Watch now, and don't forget to subscribe. Something happened inside Buckingham Palace that's now rocking the royal world, and it happened without a whisper of warning. According to fresh reports, King Charles signed a private decree that may have completely erased Queen Camilla's family from any future place in the royal line of succession. No formal announcement, no grand meeting, just a single moment behind locked doors in the Queen's gallery, where a small group of trusted royals gathered for what they believed was just another quiet discussion. Instead, they witnessed a game-changing signature that could forever alter the monarchy's direction. Insiders claim the mood was tense. A royal aide allegedly stepped back in disbelief. No one knew the document was coming, not even Camilla. But the real question is, why now? After decades of standing by Camilla's side, what could have pushed Charles to draw such a sharp line? And why do some believe this decision was years in the making? In the room with Charles were two familiar faces: Princess Anne and Prince William. These two have long stood as the pillars of royal responsibility, never wavering, never seeking the spotlight, but always watching closely. Sources suggest their faces were unreadable as the document was placed before the king. They neither celebrated nor objected, just silence. That's what made it more unsettling. Were they in on it? Had they seen the letter that allegedly changed everything? Some believe their presence was intentional, a quiet way for Charles to show unity from within the royal core. Others say they were there as protectors of the future crown, keeping watch as a monumental decision took shape. Regardless, the message was clear. Something major had shifted, and this wasn't just about family. It was about control, legacy, and drawing a firm boundary between public acceptance and private bloodlines. Just minutes after the signing, Queen Camilla was seen leaving the palace. And according to multiple bystanders, she didn't look like herself. Gone was the usual composed expression she's mastered over the years. Instead, she looked pale, shaken, and overwhelmed. One witness even described her face as ghost-like, as she was quickly guided into a waiting car. The rumor? Camilla had no idea this was coming. After years beside Charles, enduring public scrutiny, working quietly behind the scenes, and earning a place as queen consort, this was a blow no one expected, especially not her. Some staff believe she was on her way to the room when the decision was finalized, arriving just moments too late to stop it. Others whisper she was intentionally kept out to avoid confrontation. Either way, the silence from Charles spoke volumes. He didn't explain. He didn't warn her. He simply acted. But why? What changed inside him after all these years? Here's where things take a dramatic turn. During a recent reorganization of Queen Elizabeth's private archive, a letter was discovered, sealed and marked with both Diana's and Charles's initials. This wasn't a public document. It was deeply personal, written by Princess Diana during one of the most uncertain periods of her life. And what it contained reportedly shook Charles to his core. In the letter, Diana is said to have expressed her fears for the monarchy's future, especially concerning her sons. She asked Charles, should anything ever threaten William and Harry's rightful place, to act without hesitation. She spoke not just of protection, but of preservation. And here's the most chilling part. Long before Princess Charlotte was even born, Diana allegedly wrote that if William ever had a daughter, her position must be safeguarded above all else. She called her the future, not just of the monarchy, but of the public's emotional connection to the crown. Reading her words decades later, Charles was reportedly overcome. He had buried a lot: regret, guilt, and memories. But this letter reignited it all, not as a moment of nostalgia, but as a call to action. And so, quietly, he made the decision that would end one chapter and begin another. For years, Queen Camilla's children, Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopes, have remained on the outskirts of royal life. Not officially titled, not constitutionally included in the line of succession, but present nonetheless. They appeared at events. They sat in key seats. They mingled with dignitaries. To the public, it all looked casual. To insiders, it felt coordinated. Many believe Camilla was building a legacy for her children, not with declarations, but with visibility. The more they were seen near royalty, the harder it would be to remove them later. But not everyone was comfortable with this. Behind closed doors, concerns reportedly grew. Prince William and Princess Catherine were especially protective of their children's standing, particularly Charlotte's. The idea of non-royal bloodlines merging into ceremonial roles stirred discomfort in those who believed in preserving the monarchy's structure. Was Camilla overstepping? Or was she simply trying to secure a future for her children in a world that had always kept them at arm's length? Either way, the tension was rising. Charles has always balanced a delicate line between duty and emotion, tradition and modern expectations. For years, he supported Camilla, publicly and privately, but insiders now believe that support came with limits. He never fully integrated her children into royal duties, never elevated them beyond what was necessary. Why? The answer may lie in that letter. Diana's words reportedly resurfaced at the exact moment Charles needed clarity. The timing wasn't just emotional, it was defining. In a quiet moment, alone in his private quarters, Charles made the call. No ceremony, no advisors, just him, a pen, and the weight of a legacy he couldn't ignore any longer. Those who were there say he didn't hesitate, and when the ink dried, he handed the signed decree to Princess Anne with only 2 words. It's done. And just like that, the future shifted. The effects were immediate. Inside the palace, longtime staffers, some who had served both Charles and Camilla for decades, were visibly shaken. Aides whispered in disbelief. One dropped a tray, another reportedly left the palace in tears. Then came the moment few will forget. Camilla, just arriving, rushed through the corridors only to find the decree already signed and archived. She stopped. She looked around. And for a brief second, according to those who saw it, she simply broke. Not physically, but emotionally. And Charles? He didn't follow. He didn't say a word. He turned his back not out of cruelty, but finality. What happened next caught even the most experienced royal watchers off guard. Camilla demanded a private audience with Charles. When it was granted, she didn't plead, she was confronted. "You were never loyal," she reportedly said. And while she didn't raise her voice, the fury behind her words was unmistakable. She wasn't just angry about the decision. She was furious about the silence, the betrayal, the erasure of the future she had carefully tried to build. And then she delivered a warning. Camilla hinted that there were private documents, correspondence, moments from Charles's past that, if exposed, could shatter the controlled image the crown had worked so hard to maintain. Within hours, reports began surfacing that Camilla had spoken with trusted contacts across Europe. No official interviews, but just enough whispers to start a media firestorm. The monarchy scrambled. In the middle of this royal storm, one figure has quietly emerged in the public's heart: Princess Charlotte. Graceful, poised, and effortlessly composed, Charlotte has begun taking on more visible royal duties. And every time she appears, comparisons to her grandmother, Princess Diana, become stronger. The eyes, the calm presence, the quiet strength. The people adore her. Headlines now call her the new face of the monarchy. And some believe Charles's recent actions were, in part, to protect the rise of Charlotte, free from interference, confusion, or outside influence. While Camilla pushed for her children's recognition, Charlotte's natural grace and public love made her the clear emotional center of the next generation. And for a king who once faltered in protecting Diana's place in the crown, this may have been his moment of redemption. As the dust begins to settle, it's clear the royal family isn't just facing a quiet transition, it's standing at a crossroads. What began as a whispered decision by King Charles has now become a national conversation, with voices on both sides growing louder by the hour. Some royal supporters are praising the move as long overdue. To them, it's a return to tradition, a bold stand to preserve the monarchy's core. They argue that the line of succession should remain tied to heritage, duty, and a bloodline that dates back centuries. Charles, in their eyes, made a painful but necessary choice, one that puts the crown's long-term stability ahead of personal attachments. But others aren't so sure. There's growing sympathy for Camilla's children, Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopes, who, while never officially part of the monarchy, had been seen alongside it for years. They were never crowned, never given titles, yet their presence became familiar. Their quiet inclusion at royal functions and state events blurred the lines for many. And now, with one signature, all of that has been wiped away. Across social media and news outlets, public opinion is deeply divided. Some are asking tough questions. Why now? What exactly triggered the decision? And if Camilla's family was never part of the line to begin with, why did they need to be removed at all? Others worry about what this moment represents. Could this decree signal a monarchy tightening its circle too narrowly? Is there space for evolution within tradition, or must the crown always revert to the past when challenged? Adding to the tension are whispers from inside the palace itself. Reports suggest that Camilla's children are quietly meeting with legal advisors. While there's been no formal announcement, some insiders claim they're exploring whether their removal from ceremonial and representational privileges could be contested, not in terms of succession, since they were never in line for the throne, but in relation to their standing, their access, and their public association with the royal family. If this escalates into a legal battle, it won't just reopen wounds. It could place the monarchy under a microscope like never before. And then there's the media. Headlines continue to speculate on Camilla's silence. Is it part of a larger strategy? Will she return to the public stage? Or has this fracture created an irreparable rift within the royal household? Sources close to Camilla say she feels betrayed, not just by Charles, but by the institution she spent decades trying to support from the shadows. From the moment she stepped into the public eye, Camilla fought to reshape public perception, often weathering intense criticism and backlash with quiet resilience. To now be excluded from the future narrative of the crown feels, to her, like a personal undoing of everything she worked to build. And Charles? Those around him describe a man changed, not triumphant, not at peace, but heavy with the emotional toll of his decision. He's been seen walking the palace grounds alone, his conversations shorter, his presence quieter. Some say this may be the loneliest chapter of his reign yet. But while the senior royals remain guarded, others are stepping into the spotlight. Prince William and Princess Catherine have begun subtly shifting the tone of the monarchy. Their focus? Transparency, stability, compassion. Without Camilla's presence in the picture, the narrative has shifted entirely toward the next generation. And at the heart of it is Princess Charlotte. She's not just a royal child. To many, she's a symbol of a softer, more modern monarchy, one rooted in Diana's spirit, yet rising with its own light. Photos of Charlotte attending royal events continue to go viral. Her calm demeanor, her poised posture, even her casual moments with her brothers draw massive public attention. She connects with people not through titles or tradition, but through presence. And that's something the crown desperately needs right now. Because while Charles's decree may have restored the purity of succession in some eyes, it also revealed a hard truth. The monarchy, at its core, is still evolving. And like any institution faced with modern challenges, it must find new ways to honor the past while embracing the future. But that future remains uncertain. What will Camilla do next? Will her children pursue legal action? Will private letters or documents surface that shift the public narrative yet again? And most of all, can the royal family recover from this deeply personal split, or has too much trust been broken behind the palace walls? These are the questions now circling the crown, unanswered and hanging in the air. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more behind-the-scenes royal drama, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. There's more to this story, and we'll be here to break it down, one royal secret at a time.